Today, we're going to talk about the CIA. I meant terrorism. Terrorists. Who are they? You saw them on the news. You know what? Let's start off by taking a look at this.
To be fair, we had helped to create the problem we're now fighting. How? Because when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, we had this brilliant idea that we were going to come to Pakistan and create a force of mujahideen, equip them with Stinger missiles and everything else to go after the Soviets inside Afghanistan. And we were successful. The Soviets left Afghanistan, and then we said, great, goodbye, leaving these trained people who were fanatical in Afghanistan and Pakistan, leaving them well armed, creating a mess, frankly, that at the time we didn't really recognize.
Wrong. At this point, I have to pause it and explain to you that they're lying already. They're trying to make it seem as if they didn't know what would happen. You know how many advisors a president has? They know exactly what is going to happen when they leave. So this, what she's saying right there, it's kind of like, we had this plan and like, oops, we did a mistake. We didn't really want that. That is absolute bullshit. Lies. They know exactly what was going to happen. That was the plan all along. What do you think she's going to say? We went in there to cause instability and to have even more instability in the future so we can keep going back in and control the situation and all that? Of course they're not going to say that. They're going to lie. They're going to say, we had this idea. We thought this was going to happen, but we did not see that coming. We had no idea this would happen. Just want to pause it right now. Get that straight, that she's lying. They all knew what was going to happen. That was the plan from the start.
We were just so happy to see the Soviet Union fall, and we thought, okay, fine, we're okay now. Everything's going to be so much better. Now you look back, the people we're fighting today, we were supporting in the fight against the Soviets.
If you do your research on the internet, you will notice that there is so much information available that the US is funding terrorists and or created them. Here's a little factoid that's well worth considering. Take a look at this chart. As you can see, these are suicide attacks between 1981 and 2010. Now, yes, there were suicide attacks even in World War II with kamikaze pilots, where the pilot of the fighter plane or the attack plane that would crash into boats, literally crash into boats, of course killing the pilot but doing maximum damage. Yes, that existed in World War II. But since then, till about, well, if you look at the chart, after 9/11, which was in 2001, as you could see, the huge spike in suicide attacks, and the majority of those are suicide bombers. You know, the ones they strap bombs on their torso, and then, you know, they go somewhere either in a car or in a crowded place and they blow themselves up, or, you know, with a lot of explosives in the car, you know, and then they blow themselves up. See that spike? I think that's well worth considering, because it was not really a big issue, terrorists blowing themselves up for 9/11. Now, I love the United States. I love the people there. I love the land. It's really a nice place to live. It's cool. I love it. But in any case, there are parts of the government that I hate. And they are responsible for so much shit going on in the world. That's why I hate them. So when I say stuff now in this video like the US does this and the US does that. I'm not attacking the citizens. And I'm not attacking the people in government that have a good heart and know what's going on. Well, know what's going on. Mean the good guys in government. And most of them are good guys in government. The problem is when you get high in power, there's going to start to be shit that's going on. People get blackmailed, people in government. But anyways, I don't want to go into there. Let's go back to stick to this. I'm going to probably make another video on that anyways. But let's stick to this right now. Terrorism. Who are they? And why do they exist? And why is all this shit going on the planet right now? And let's take a look at this here. This is from Wikipedia. United States and state-sponsored terrorism. So right there, Wikipedia even says that the United States sponsors terrorism. I'll get more into that detail later. Of course, the politicians and parts of this Wikipedia article try and like justify it. They try and like, oh, we need to do this because of this. Like we've got bad guys here, so we're gonna deal with these other bad guys to get rid of those bad guys. Whatever, all bullshit, anyways. Let's take a look at this one. CIA chief just confirmed war on terror has created a lot more terrorists. Yeah, so the more you do that, the more you fight terrorism, it's going to create more terrorism. You'll see why. Pentagon paid PR firm $540 million to make fake terrorist videos. CIA, by the way. That's the CIA. Here's another one. America created Al-Qaeda and the ISIS terror group. It's all the same shit. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, don't let that fool you. There's, what's that other one? Daesh or whatever they call it, Daesh. It's all the same shit. It's, anyways, let's take a look at this one here. WikiLeaks confirms the tunnels that the US just spent $16 million destroying were built by the CIA. Okay, now, like I said, I can keep going and showing you news clips. If you do the research yourself, you're going to see that it's an absolute fact that the CIA creates terrorists. They created the terrorists and they fund them and keep them going. Why? Okay, I don't know the absolute reason why, but I'm going to give you a layman's explanation of how this is going on. Imagine this. Imagine there's a campground, okay, with, 100 people camping there. And in this campground exists some rats, okay? And there's a guy in the campground who is in the trade or is in the field of, extermination, getting rid of rats and pests and whatever you want to call it. And so he knows about this and he has an ulterior motive. Of course, he wants to make money, right? So what happens is he finds out where all these rats are living. He spends money and time studying the rats, finding out where they live, where they reproduce, stuff like that. And what that guy does is he creates a home for them, a place where they can multiply, right? Give them food so they can grow nice and big and strong, and shelter them so that they can build up an army. And then the next thing you know, you have rats all over the place in the campground. And then this guy comes in for a solution and says, oh, I could help you. Buy my system, the rat poison, traps, whatever he has to offer. And then I can, we can fix that problem. Because the problem is over there. Look over there. There's the problem. The rats are the problem. And so everybody focuses on that. Then he sells them this. He has an ulterior motive. Okay, I'll give you another example. There's a guy, he has a business selling windows and repairing windows and stuff like that. And then he sees some kids, a couple of kids that have, they have nothing to do, they're bored, a little bit troublemakers. And they see that, they throw rocks. He caught them throwing rocks sometimes. So he approaches them and he says, hey kids, I'll give you money, I'll give you comic books, or I'll give you some chips, or whatever kids like, candy, if you go break some windows. If you go break some windows, I'm going to give you this. So then these kids throw rocks, break windows. And of course, who's going to get the business? He's going to get the business of repairing the windows. So it has to do with control and money is involved and stuff like that. So basically, what I'm trying to say, the examples that I was trying to give, should tell you that if the CIA would have never gotten involved overseas with these terrorists, okay, let's say starting from the 1940s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and the 90s and 2000, all those years, if they would have never got involved in any way, whether they're helping them or not helping them or whatever, guess what? You would hardly ever hear about terrorists. Terrorists would not be a problem in the world. So CIA may not have created them from scratch. The terrorists exist. There are crazy people in the world, fanatics and crazy people in the world. But the CIA, just like the window guy, focuses in, the window guy of the example I gave, focuses in on those kids and gives money to the kids. So that the problems keep going. Or the other example, the campground. The CIA goes in, finds the rats, and helps the rats. So they become bigger and bigger and more of a problem. And then CIA comes in. The U.S. Army comes in and says, we're going to fix this. We're gonna help you guys because you got a problem with terrorists. So that's what's going on. Now, yes, they will give you stories. Hillary Clinton, Bush, Obama, all of them. It's all the same shit. They will give you stories that, well, these are bad guys over here. So, we dealt with these other kind of bad guys. But then when we left, those other bad guys that we partnered with, they got bigger because we helped them, and now they're causing problems. They try to make it seem like they didn't know. Trust me, there's a lot of people high in government and in the military and CIA. They know exactly what's gonna happen. And there's a lot of other smart people in the world too that even predicted this. They say if the US goes in there and does this, works with these groups, this is what's going to happen after. It's going to be when the US leaves, these groups that they help now are very powerful and they're going to cause more problems. They knew all that. It's not a surprise. Not like, oops, no, they knew that in advance. These government officials that made these decisions, they all knew that in advance. They're not stupid. Here's a good one. This is the way they would. This is the way the government explains themselves. They say, "We aren't dealing with the terrorists. We're dealing with the moderates. So we help the moderates overthrow the terrorists. We help the moderates win against the terrorists because the terrorists are the bad people and we want them gone. So we're gonna, and they decide, by the way, which is the bad one. This is the bad one. So let's use these other, they claim, not so bad, to get rid of the really bad. So moderate, it's so dumb because it's like you got two terrorist groups. Well, you got a lot more than that. But in this example, okay, you have what the US claims is a real terrorist. Oh, they cut people's heads off. And they do this, right? And then the moderates, well, we're in partner with the moderates because they're going to get rid of the ones that cut your head off. So this terror group cuts your head off. This terror group kills you with bullets and a knife and bombs. But that's the good terrorists, because those you see, you got two terrorists. You got the terrorists that kill you only with bombs, bullets, and knives. And then you have these other terrorists that also kill you with bombs, bullet, and knives, but they also cut your head off. So those are the bad guys. Those ones are the bad guys. The ones over here are not the bad guys. You know why? Because we're dealing with them. We're helping them get rid of these guys. It's like it's all full of shit. I hope I'm getting through to you. We have to wake up. It's all... All right, let's take a look at some memes now. ISIS, who's behind it? If you do your research, this is what's going to come up. ISIS, who's behind it? Groups and individual donors within these nation states have vested interests in keeping the war on terror alive and well for as long as possible, so as to further their agendas. And their agendas are, well, okay, financial gains, arms set, which is, selling weapons, control of regional resources, gold, whatever, silver, oil especially, anything that's valuable. Engineering of political and racial tension, meaning they want to be a conflict there always, justification for mass surveillance and monitoring of the global population, so that they could spot. They always want there to be problems so that they could spy on everybody, basically. And also centralization of power. They want a certain type of people there. Put it this way, it has nothing to do with being good or bad. It has nothing to do with what they believe in, what the United States believe in. Now remember, when I say United States, I don't mean the people. And I don't mean the majority of the government. I mean some faction of the CIA, some factions of the military that are in control, that cause all this shit. Them. Anyways, okay. So yes, Israel is involved, USA is involved. And when I'm saying these countries, the same thing goes there. When I say Israel, I don't mean the population of Israel. I don't mean the citizens of Israel. I mean parts of the government. Sometimes it's the president itself or the prime minister. I'm not sure what they have there. Sometimes it's parts of their army, of their military. Then there's the USA. Then there's NATO, which is a whole bunch of countries. Then there's Qatar. Then there's Saudi Arabia. And there's Turkey. So, and you know what? ISIS is the same shit as Al-Qaeda. Is the same shit as... They're just changing the names so that you forget about... If you do... See, what they're trying to do is, when they change those names, is when you do, let's say, research in ISIS, you're not going to get all the shit from Al-Qaeda. And if you do the research on Al-Qaeda, you're not going to get all the shit before that. Because it's all the same. Let's take a look at this one here. War, who's it good for? Yeah, these guys make a lot of money, by the way, the problems that terrorists create, which is the CIA. CIA creates terrorists, which creates the problems. The CIA helps the terrorists, which continues to create the problems. They give them weapons, and yes, if you do your research, they got red-handed caught giving weapons. They got red-handed caught giving money. If you have investments, I'll put it this way, if you have any type of investments in the States or wherever you live, in Canada, wherever, make sure you don't have any investments in Lockheed Martin, Halliburton, Boeing, Raytheon. Actually, there's a lot more because you're helping those out. You're helping them out, those companies, and those companies make the most profit in this kind of conflict, in terrorism shit. Because today, war isn't anymore war like it used to be. Remember, right? It's all it's the foundation of all this war today is terrorism. Let's look at this meme. There's an easy way to keep refugees out of your country. Stop creating them, dumbass. And it's true, because you got these people in the States, God bless them. They hate the terrorists. It's true. People who kill other people, I mean, I don't like them. I hate them too. Just like those people, but those people are brainwashed. And then when they hear refugees are coming over here, they're like, what the fuck you doing? You know, they have all the whatever their excuses. They're going to take our jobs. This. They're going to be in welfare, or maybe they're dangerous. They're terrorists. Some of them are terrorists, and they're going to start doing shit here. The thing is, if that's the way you think, that's okay. You could think that way, but the problem is your own government. I'm talking to the U.S. citizens now. The problem is your own government is creating the refugees that are coming into your country. Love that meme. Here's a good one too. How to create a terrorist. Step 1. Murder the innocent child of a man who has never done anything to you. Because if you watch maybe mainstream media, you won't know so much about this. But if you start watching, watch the mainstream media too if you want. They brainwash you, but you could watch it too and compare it. So this is what you do. You don't stick to one news channel always. If you do that, you're fucked. No matter what news channel it is. What you got to do, unfortunately, you got to do extra work. You got to watch different news sources or read different news sources. Go watch CNN and Fox or anything in the States. It's always going to be the same shit. But also go watch RT News. Also go watch, there's other ones. Anyways, I can't think of them right now besides RT, but there's a lot of other ones. And what you do is you compare. You compare, and the one that makes the most sense to you, honest, that's the one you're going to make up your mind. But don't do that for a day. Do it for the rest of your life. Because sometimes they're going to lie more, and sometimes they're going to lie more. And, they're all a little biased. Some of them are very biased. But yeah, the US, again, because of terrorists, which they created and they fund, there's a lot of collateral damage always. There's a lot of innocent people that get killed, always. So this meme is exactly for that. It keeps the terrorists going too. So they kill two birds with one stone. They actually help the terrorists with money and weapons, and then they do bombing. A lot of it is drone bombing, which kills innocent people. That too helps the cycle. Generates new people that hate. That's something to think about. So that's it. That's it for this video. Just wanted to let you know that, despite of what CNN says and all that other fake news, Fox News, all the same shit. Western media, basically. They're all in it. They're all in it together. What is their true motive? A lot of people say oil. Money, like their central banks. I have a little different take on it. I think it's even beyond that. I think that's more like the surface, it seems like it's that, but I don't believe anything anymore that I see in the news. Some things I believe, some things I don't, and there's so much shit out there. It's called disinformation. You got to really be careful what you believe in, and don't believe in anything until you see enough evidence to really, really convince you. But that's from different news sources. So that's it for this episode. I hope you liked my explanation of who are the terrorists. And if you like this video, like it, share it. Comments, and I'll see you next time on Raise Your Frequency.